You know the drill. You pop in an old DVD, or maybe you click on a download link, and before you get to the good stuff, bam, there it is, that stark, serious warning. It's a familiar sight, right? And it frames the whole story of piracy in this really specific black and white way. It's a crime, plain and simple. In the language, man, it's designed to be intimidating. It talks about the FBI, about criminal violations, about deterring people. This is the official narrative we're all supposed to just accept. Piracy is theft. End of story. But is it really that simple? What if that warning is just the cover of a much, much older and more complicated book? A story that's not just about stealing, but about innovation, about necessity, and even about building entire cultures. Let's peel back that warning label and see what's underneath. Today's battles over illegal streaming and downloading, they feel so modern, so digital. But honestly, they're just the latest echoes of a conflict that's been going on for centuries. The technology changes, sure, but the big ideas, the core tensions, they are surprisingly timeless. Okay, check this out. It's all about scale. Back in the late 19th century, this guy, Stephen Adams, he was the Drake of his day when it came to pirated sheet music. Now, fast forward to today, and a single Drake album gets illegally downloaded 10 million times. The tech has gone from photocopiers to global networks. But the fundamental fight between the creator, the publisher, and the person who wants a copy, it's exactly the same. And get this, the word pirate has always been about more than just songs and movies. Back in 19th century London, independent operators who challenged the city's official bus monopoly were called, you guessed it, pirate buses. Sounds a lot like the debates around private tech shuttles in San Francisco, doesn't it? In both cases, piracy was the label slapped on anyone disrupting the established system. And all this time, the law has been playing this frantic game of catch-up. The Statute of Anne in 1710 was a direct response to the printing press, a new technology that totally upended everything. Nearly 300 years later, the internet shows up, and lawmakers have to scramble to create the DMCA. Every big technological leap forces a total legal rethink. But here is the absolute kicker. The nation that is now leading the global war on piracy was itself founded as a pirate nation. Seriously, the early U.S. government actively encouraged copying British books without permission. Why? For a greater good, to build a smart, literate new country. Okay, so that's the public history. But beneath all of that, there is a hidden world, a super organized subculture that is the original source for pretty much everything you find online. So let's pull back the curtain and take a look inside the Warez Scene. Now, I want you to completely forget that image of a lone hacker in a dark basement. That is not what the scene is. It's a highly sophisticated global network. It's not chaos, it's a culture, with a strict hierarchy, its own code of ethics, and a clear set of rules. It's way more like a secret guild than a disorganized mob. And they have a process. It's like a well-oiled assembly line. A supplier gets the original content, often before it's even released. A cracker breaks the digital locks. A packer formats everything to their exact standards. Then it gets uploaded to secret, super-fast servers, and couriers race to spread it around the globe. It's only after this whole complex hidden dance is done that a file finally leaks out to the public torrent sites most people know. And like any good subculture, the scene even developed its own language, elite speak. It started as a clever way to get around content filters, swapping letters for numbers and symbols. Words you might have seen online like pwn, noob, and woot, they didn't just come out of nowhere. They were markers of identity in this secret digital world. All right, let's just pause for a second and shift gears completely. Because what happens when piracy isn't just a subculture or a hobby or a crime? What happens when it's the only way to take part in culture at all? In huge parts of the world, piracy isn't really a choice. It's a basic necessity. This right here is the core idea. In places where legal movies, music, and software are either censored, wildly unaffordable, or just plain unavailable, piracy doesn't just fill a gap, it becomes the entire infrastructure. It's the library, the video store, and the radio station, all rolled into one. Take China, for instance. The Shanzhai culture started as just straight-up copying electronics, but it evolved into this massive grassroots innovation engine. By taking things apart, tweaking them, and improving them, a whole generation of engineers taught themselves the skills that would go on to launch China's own powerful original tech industry. Or how about this amazing story from Cuba? Internet access is super limited there, right? So an incredible system popped up, el Paquete Semanal, the weekly package. It's a 1 terabyte hard drive loaded up every week with movies, music, news, and even offline websites, and then physically passed from person to person. It is literally an offline internet born out of pure necessity. And in 1980s Brazil, tough import laws created a total content vacuum. People had VCRs, but there were almost no legal tapes to rent, so pirate video clubs sprang up everywhere. By 1987, it was estimated that 80% of all video store content was pirated. They didn't just compete with the market, they were the market. Of course, the movie studios and record labels didn't just sit back and watch all this happen. Which brings us to the other side of the story, the endless, escalating, and often really creative cat-and-mouse game of anti-piracy. And this chase has been going on for a century. In the 1920s, you had mysterious vans trying to detect illegal radios. In the 80s, computer games came with those crazy code wheels you had to use just to play. And in the 2000s, we had the infamous Sony rootkit that secretly installed itself on your computer. The pattern never changes. For every new lock, someone invents a new lockpick. And sometimes the tactics got weirdly personal. In an early attempt at what's called torrent poisoning, Madonna's label flooded file-sharing sites with fake MP3s of her new album. But when you downloaded it, you didn't get music, you got a clip of Madonna herself asking, "What the fuck do you think you're doing?" and then just silence. But not everyone was so aggressive. Some creators actually had a sense of humor about it. If you pirated the game Alan Wake, it didn't crash or stop you from playing. No, instead, it just made the main character wear a pirate eye patch for the entire game. It's this clever little fourth-wall-breaking wink at the player. So after this whole journey, through history, through secret subcultures, through global necessity and corporate warfare, we're kind of back where we started, but the picture is a whole lot messier now, isn't it? It's time to try and redefine what a pirate actually is. So what is a pirate? Just a thief, like that FBI warning says? Or are they an innovator, like the engineers in China? A freedom fighter, challenging a system? An archivist, like the people in Cuba preserving culture? Or simply a necessity, filling a void the official market can't or won't? The answer, it seems, is yeah. They can be all of those things, sometimes all at once. This constant conflict has also sparked totally new ways of thinking about ownership itself. You get concepts like copyleft, which is kind of the philosophical opposite of copyright. Think about open source software like Linux or platforms in Wikipedia. They run on a model where sharing and altering isn't just allowed, it's encouraged, as long as you pass that freedom along. It proves the debate isn't just legal versus illegal, it's about different worldviews. And that leaves us with the central, massive question of our digital age. When a song or a movie or a book can be copied perfectly, infinitely, for basically zero cost, the very idea of ownership starts to get really weird. What does it even mean to own something that everyone can have a perfect copy of? That is the question that piracy forces us all to confront, and we are still a long, long way from finding an answer.